Good morning and sliding afternoon. Judy Allen here, also known as Nana in San Antonio, Texas, and back from vacation. Look at the shirt I got. Whoop. So, there you go. And I'm also peeling from either a wind tan or a sun tan, not sure which. But today, we're making our first alternative because I wasn't here last week because I was out doing my anniversary week with the love of my life. So today we're going to make an alternative. I'm going to show you how to do a fun fold that's very easy to do from the kit, right? And we're going to also show you how that stamp with all the flowers on them can line up and give you a continuous run of flowers. All right, so let's go down to hands and let's make that alternative, all right? It's Friday. Have a good weekend, right? All right, so I'm going to set this aside first. I'm going to first show you the fun fold that we're going to do. And I'm going to set some of these pieces aside here, and then I'll show you how the stamp works, all right? And then we'll start building from there. So when you get this here, this is what your regular card looks like, all right? And it just opens up, and you have a 5.5 by 8.5, all right? We fold it in half, this becomes 4.25. All right, so what we're doing this is we're not going to fold it in half to make the card, right? So what we're going to do, though, you can do it one of two ways. I actually used this here, which is our cutting and scoring tool here. And the thing is when you look at measuring this, like I said, it was 4.25 by 5.5. So half, what you're going to do is take the 4.25 and divide it by 2. So that's going to give you 2 1/8. So you're simply going to, each of these are in fourth increments. So one way to do it is just to use this here and use the scoring tool, and we're going to come over right here at 2 1/8. And you want to be sure to use the light gray tan one right here, and we score down. And you're going to do that on each end of this, okay? Now, the other way, if you don't have a scoring tool, would be, is just to take it. If you flip it over, you'll see the line right here. You can just take it and fold it over to that line and just crease it really good with your fingers. I use the score line. You could also, if you have a bone folder or something else, you could easily just come and do like this here. And we're just making a fun fold so that when we get through, it's going to look like this. Okay? So that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to set this aside a moment because this is going to be our fun fold, and we're going to actually open it up like this. Okay? So that's our fun fold. I'm going to set it aside and let me show you the stamp. Alright, I usually always encourage people to have at least some white paper around, especially your paper pumpkins if you want to test something out. So I'm not going to use the ink spot because I'll give those away as freebie. So what I'm going to use is the ink pad here. And I planned on using Calypso Coral. It's a color we had in previous kits. I'm using my regular stamp pad because I give those away, right? So we just go ahead and ink this up. You can always see if it's inked up well or not, and we're going to stamp. Now look at the V here. I did a photo for you out there. We are just going to turn around and ink this up again, and we're just going to line it up. Okay? And it just gives you continuous flowers for a look. And we're going to do this today. I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you here first. Okay, see how that looks? See how it looks continuous? They designed the stamp, and you can tell by the shape. They designed the stamp so you can just easily just come and line it up. So that's what I've done here. And you can see how easy it is. Now, I'm going to do the same thing, except this time, this is from the kit, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to come across. Because I'm going to use this like this. So I just tap it 3 times. You don't have to mush it in. People sometimes think they have to mush it in. You do not have to mush it in. And I'm just going to stamp it. Now, I have this extra over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a Post-it note. And I'm going to put it down here. It's just acting like masking tape, right? And I'm just going to do it about the same distance. And then I'm going to turn around. Just 3 taps, right? 1 for good measure. Don't mash. Sometimes people have a tendency to match. And it just easily lines these up. And I'm just double checking it for me. Okay. See how that lines up really nice? And you can even see it flowing through right there. So we're going to take that off. And then I'm going to take my adhesive, my Post-it note off from right here. And there we go. And see how it looks continuous? It looks like we did continuous flowers. And we did, which is just the way we stamped, right? So I'm going to set this aside. I'll clean it off in a little bit. And then from here, we're going to do some stamping here too. So that's one thing that we're stamping. And we're going to put this aside right here for the moment. And then this is a stamp here. Now this one is, I'm going to use Night of Navy. They actually gave you these large die cut vases. I was in Canada, and if you're in Canada, they call them vases, not vases. And I think I can easily match that up. I should be able to, right? See how it fits perfectly right there? I'm going to do that. If I don't do it for whatever reason correctly, I will just stamp it on paper and fussy cut it. But I should be able to do it, right? For sure, I have another tool that I can put my stamps on to make sure it happens. But main thing is, okay, now see here, you can see where I've inked this up, and you see where some of it is not got ink on it. So that's just because my ink pad is like that. So let's see here. We just want to make sure it's covered in ink really well, and I did get some on my finger. Okay, so that's the main thing, is you just want to make sure you get some good ink coverage, okay? Alright, so it looks like I got ink on everything. Just double checking, right? Because I don't have my stamparatus here. It allows me to stamp more than once. And I'm just going to, I don't like the middle of it. Okay, looks better. Let's see, if not, then I'll just do it again. Alright, so I'm just going to see if I can stamp it right on here. I should be able to. I usually can. It might stick on it like that for you. Yes, this is how you end up with blue ink all over me. Okay, so I got it right there. So I was a little bit off, but it's okay, right? Because I can easily trim this and it'll be just fine. So what I'm going to do with this, though, is going to do one other thing with this for you. So yeah, you can see I'm off just a little bit. You know that, and I know that, but I also know I can take my scissors. So I don't sweat the small stuff. For me, that's the small stuff. I get more concerned about dipping my hand in blue ink. So, in this one I missed it just a smidgen, so I'm just going to trim it just a smidgen, right? So I'm just trimming it off a smidgen. I missed it a little bit there. Yes, you'll see I got blue ink on my fingers. I do that occasionally, right? I don't mean to, but main thing is don't get your hands wet and touch your paper. Because if you do, then it'll come off your fingers. So I wait till I get through. Okay, so I just trimmed it off a little bit. Right, if you've ever made clay pots, they are not all the same. We are not machines, right? So I'm going to put this on here. So see how nice that's going to look? I'm just going to put this here. And I'm going to put this vase right here too. And then we're going to let them overlap if I can get it without looking at my finger. Alright, so we're going to put this up on dimensionals, but just to give you an idea what it's going to look like, okay? That's what it's going to look like. And just leave it right there a moment so you can see what that's going to look like. And then we'll put something across it. So when we go to put this on, we want to make sure this is going to come over like this right here. And that's actually very pretty just the way it is, right? I could have actually just left it like this in here. So we're going to put this down, and we're going to make sure our adhesive is on the upper half of this, okay? Because if you do it on both sides, it's going to go flat, right? You won't be able to open it. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to use this for speed. You can use the glue dots in the kit. Actually, they didn't have glue dots in the kit. I could use the tear and tape. They had tear and tape in there. Oh, sorry, I have to save it for next week. This was handy, and I went and did it. So I'm going to go ahead. You could do it either way. I'm also going to do mine like this. And I'm going to just put it right here. I'm going to center it. Alright, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to put these on here. I'm going to put these on here with dimensionals. They do have in the kit where you have these adhesive strips, but if I do it, I just would use a short one. I'll have to go ahead and do it since it's in the kit. The short ones work just fine. And so when we go and put this down up here, it's not going to matter, right? Because it's just going to be right here on top. And I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to take this one in and put it on top too. I am sorry, I have had allergies from traveling. And I just believe that I'm going to be home now. Either it's allergies from being home, right? So I've got I'm peeling either from a wind tan or sun tan or a combination of the two. And then I've got allergies acting up because either I didn't have any issues when I was traveling, but coming home, so it might be coming home. So I'll just have to look see what's going on. All right, so one other thing I want to do that's just so easy to do is I'm going to add an extra little color here, all right? And I was debating whether I was going to use this. Let's see what we got here. This is Bumblebee, but I think I'm going to use a lighter color. Let's see what it's going to look like, so we can see what it's going to look like. I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it on. I'll do what I just did a while ago. I have enough blue ink left here. Let me just go ahead and stamp it. See if we got enough blue ink left on it. Not really, but at least give me an idea, right? Half the time I just need a general idea. So when I say that, just to show you, I wanted to see what it would look like, because I don't like to do everything the same all the time, right? I like to change things up. This one is actual Bumblebee. I'm going to use a blender pen here, and I'm going to take that color off of what I just did on my acrylic block, and we're going to color some flowers. So I just want to see what it's going to look like next to this navy blue, just to give you an idea, right? And give myself an idea. So that was one choice of color. I just wiped that off to make sure that I sit there and got my color off. Now I'm going to do this one here is Daffodil Delight. Again, both of these were in previous kits. I just wasn't sure which I was going to like the most. So, right, when you make your decisions, it's just trying to decide what do you want. So you can see one's just a little bit darker than the other, and this one's lighter. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go with this one here, the darker one, because I just think it'll go good. Well, actually, they'll both go good, right? So I shouldn't say that. Let me clean this off, set this aside. So that's a good reason to have your extra white paper there so you can see. So yes, if you are out there or you're watching the replay, just let us know, make a comment, emoji, whether it's here or on YouTube. And because we will have Freebie Friday next Friday. And we want to make sure to include you in the drawing. And I'm just going to color these flowers in because I can, right? Just get a little bit different color. It's one of those things, we always do things because we can, right? That's the beauty of this, is we can all create how we want to create. So I'm just adding, this is, let's say it was again, this is Bumblebee. This is in one of the kits. So if, see, the nice thing about Paper Pumpkin is if you'll save your little ink spots each month, at the end of a year you have 12, you actually have more than 12 ink spots, because there's a time or two throughout the year they give you 2 ink spots in a given month, which is always a nice treat and adds to your collection. So you usually have about maybe 14 at the end of the year. So those are all colors you can use, not just for your paper pumpkins, right? You can any other cards you make, you just add your collection colors. So I'm just adding a little bit of that. And then I'm going to get this cleaned off again. And we're just going to add some bling in our sentiment, and we are done. That's how easy it is to make an alternative to the kits. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I did not turn my phone off. I thought I did. Okay, so we have this here. Let's get our bling on here. And our tag. So we have choices here. So one would be that we can either put this across, let's get that down, this across with our comment here, which would be easy to do. We can actually bring it down here if we want to, and then just put this right here. It's right, it's all about looks. Or the other I thought would be nice is just to put hello friend. I like this one better. So let's go ahead and I'm going to set this aside, and we're just going to, I'll show you the tear tape that came in the kit. It's right here, and it'll go just easily on this tag, because we're going to put it right across those vases or vases, depending on where you're from. Took me a while, because I'm not used to saying vases, but you know what? When you go other places, other countries, and you know they pronounce something a certain way, you sort of adapt, right? If you're in Rome, do like the Romans do. Well, right. If you're in Canada, you like the Canadians do. It just makes it nice, right? And I'm just going to put it right here. It's just nice and simple. And then all we're going to do is just add some of our bling that we had left over here. Call it bling. But it's, you know what? We could easily stamp the inside of the card. Just going to put a couple here. actually, I'm not sure. They literally look more like navy blue. I'm sure they're navy blue. First, I thought they were black, but right thing is with navy blue, certain angles it looks black. It may not be, right? So I'm just gonna put these up here. And then this is not in the kit, but I am gonna take it. It's Wink Stella. I'm just gonna add it to some of my flowers in the vases, just to give them a little sparkle. Just gets enough sheen and sparkle just to add a little something. And you see, I can already go over this as well too, get some sheen and sparkle. And now that I did this, I might get a light green or something and put it on those leaves. But for the now, it's done, right? It is done. So we have made our alternative. And what do you think? So there we go. We got a fun fold that we can open and stamp a sentiment, right? Make it a note card, a message. And you know what? I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to stamp some more of these flowers, I think right across the bottom there. Wouldn't that be way too cool? It'll just add a little something extra there that they won't be expecting. So that's always a nice surprise. So let's do that real quick. I'm just going to add a little extra in the middle on this inside the card because we're done. We've finished our card. And all you got to do is if you want to look at the line down there, that's fine. I'm just going to come across here like this. And I'm just going to keep on doing it as I go across. So again, I'm just lining these up so you can see. I'm just lining it up right there in here. And I'm just going to stamp. And last but not least, one more. And this one's going to be off the paper, right? Off the card, so that's why I got paper underneath. And there you go. It just gave me a nice little border on the inside. I could easily do that to the, can't do it as easily to the envelope, right? Because the envelope's blue. But there you go. I can stamp my sentiment. I've done that on the inside. It's going to fold over like this. So let me know what you think, right? Fun folds are nice and different. So if you want to see what we've done so far, this is what we've done today. Okay. This is what we did Sunday, Sunday, the end of the month, the last Sunday of the month. This was the alternative that we made. This is from the kit. So these two are alternatives. This was from the kit. And this was from the kit. So there you go. Hope you enjoy that because it's just quick and easy, right? Just quick and easy. And you know, I have friends I can send the cards to, and I have other people I can give it to gift as well. So there's no reason you can't go out there, create, share, and give. That's what it's all about, is going making a difference in someone else's life. So with that, be sure to follow us on YouTube if you're not, and well, we are on Pinterest, but I would say Instagram. That's where we post the photos. And we have the videos on YouTube. So with that, we would love for you to follow us not only here, but in those places as well too. So with that, be blessed. Go out there, create, share, and give. And then we'll see you next Friday where we'll create another alternative. Bye.